Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Regarding Palestinian prisoners, I could give you numbers and explain international law, but given that the other speakers have done it, and I'm sure others will do it after me, I preferred to talk to you about what we have been reminded of in the last month through the Palestinian prisoners' experiences and testimonies. I purposely say that these are things that we have been reminded of because, as you will see, we have always known them. First, we were reminded of what Frantz Fanon had told us a long time ago, as if he was writing today. He said in 1959, in the 5th year of the Algerian Revolution, and I quote, "Colonized people must, if they do not want to be morally condemned by the Western countries, they must practice fair play, while their rival adventures with total peace of mind in the unlimited discovery of new means of terror." End quote. This is what we have witnessed with an unprecedented intensity in the last 8 months. The means of terror that the Israeli army, the state, settlers have deployed seem unlimited. The case of Palestinian prisoners and what we have all seen confirm this. The experience of Palestinian prisoners from Gaza and the West Bank, including Jerusalem, has reminded us also of this classic of colonialism, which is that almost every single accusation of the colonizer against the colonized to justify his domination or murder are rather confessions. They are confessions of what they are capable of doing. The systematic rape, the torture, the inhumane conditions to which Palestinian prisoners are subjected, and the absence of any evidence of Palestinians doing so to Israeli prisoners are a clear confirmation that when the colonizer accuses, he is rather in a sort of psychoanalytical turn. He is rather confessing what he is capable of doing, what he imagines, what he pictures, what he desires. You have seen the contrast in your screens. I don't need to tell you. Israeli prisoners going back home with a smile on their faces, sometimes even coming back to shake hands with their captors. Do you remember these images? While Palestinian prisoners, when they are released, if they come back devastated, shadows of themselves. The conditions of Palestinian prisoners also remind us that the violence of the colonizer goes well beyond what the law may have imagined or anticipated. A war prisoner is a soldier, is a captured soldier or fighter in certain circumstances. How can we classify all the civilians imprisoned by Israel since the 7th of October, but also long before? Well, they are hostages. So Israel has taken around 10,000 hostages since the 7th of October. This is a war crime. Why don't we hear of them in the news? Actually, the entire Palestinian population is hostage of Israeli colonial domination, but we never hear it. These images and testimonies coming from the Israeli prisons and concentration camps reminded us that all Palestinian prisoners are Primo Levi. You know, the Italian Jew survivor of the Holocaust who wrote the most poignant testimonies of the camps that I know. Primo Levi, when describing the Jewish condition in Nazi Germany, he says, and I quote, "In an instant, in an almost prophetic intuition, reality shows itself. We have reached the bottom. It is not possible to fall lower than this. It is not possible to conceive a human condition more miserable than ours. Nothing belonged to us. They took our clothes, our shoes, even our hair. If we speak, they will not hear us. And even if they heard us, they will not understand. They will take even our name. And if we want to conserve it, we will have to find in ourselves the necessary strength so that behind our name, something of us, something of what we were, subsists. End quote. Do not mistake, these are urgent questions, not only for the humans injured or demolished by hatred and violence, but for all of us. For where were we if we are not the victims? On the side of the oppressor? Or submerged in the terrible indifference of our routines? Is not that somehow the same thing? So we all lose parts of our humanity in the Gazas, in the Auschwitz, in the Nakbas of history. This is precisely another lesson that Primo Levi brings from the camps when he says, and I quote, and on the scaffoldings, on the trains, on the roads, in the trenches, in the offices, humans and humans, slaves and masters, and the masters themselves enslaved. I just want to finish by saying that the testimonies of Palestinian prisoners offer terrible insights into Israeli brutality to the extent that Walid Daka, a Palestinian political prisoner for 38 years before he died last month, in his writings provide an insightful description of prisons as the sixth Palestinian geography, alongside the West Bank, the Gaza Strip, Jerusalem, the diaspora, and Palestinians in 1948. To finish, in a more hopeful note, I want to say that the sixth Palestinian geography, of which are constitute the prisoners, offers not only testimonies of suffering, but also of hopeful solidarity between Palestinian prisoners and global political movements. The relationship between Palestinian prisoners and prisoners movements in Ireland, Spain, France, Germany, and Italy, for instance, is central to understanding that what has been done to Palestinians have been done elsewhere and will be done to others if we don't organize and resist.